I'm going to talk to you about what to grow to create everlasting flowers in your garden. I'm going to talk to you about colour and choosing a palette for your garden. Faced with the opportunity and endless possibilities of what to grow in your cut flower garden, then I'm going to share now how I have chosen bits and pieces that I grow in my cut flower garden here on the Middlewich branch next to Bridgewater of the Shropshire Union Canal in a very stormy Cheshire today. So I'm on solid clay, and I think the first thing really to say is I would suggest you be guided by your soil and your site for what's going to really thrive with you. So things that thrive here, quite funnily, are this curry plant, and also achillea does really well here actually. So I don't know about you, but growing flowers, you need time, you need bed space, and I just want things to kind of get on with it and be all right. So that's why I grow some bulbs for cutting as well. So this is an allium. I grow them every year. It's got a really long Latin name that I will include in the comments below because frankly I can never pronounce it. But it's another really good option for growing if you want to grow for everlastings for drying, because you just plant them up either in the beds or in pots and they come back every year and you don't have to fuss about them. The only thing you have to remember is that when they've flowered and they've got to their peak, and it's the same with everything, then is the moment you know to cut them. You can't wait until, perhaps you might cut them for fresh. You have to cut them at their absolute peak. Now another key consideration is colour palette. You can't grow every colour unless you've got, you know, acres and acres and a staff, I would suggest. But what you can choose is colours that appeal to you and that are almost like your voice, if you like, in your flowers. And I love yellow. It's actually Pantone Colour of the Year for 2021. I was thrilled when that was announced. So I do grow a lot of yellow, but I think it says autumn. You know, so when I dry this achillea, it's a Parker's variety, and then when I cut this curry plant for drying, this goes a sort of mellow yellow. This will soften to a sort of ochre, and that for me captures the seasonal moment of autumn when I'm creating an everlasting whatever that might be. And also when I'm growing limonium, I look at these lighter colours, and that for me will capture summer, even though it's an everlasting flower, but the colour in limonium is just so intense and it keeps really bright. So that kind of echoes that seasonal moment in summer when it's really hot and all the colours are really intense. And it's the same with this Echinops retro. Is such an intense, beautiful blue. I do grow other, you know, sort of Echinops as well, to because I just like the shape, and I think that's a really important thing as well when you're deciding on what you want to grow for everlastings for drying. It isn't just focal flowers that you need. You need kind of the same things you would for a bouquet. You need something soft and transitional. You need something that's going to give you a spike. So I also grow these, which are, you need something of a smaller size. So grow little focal flowers that are slightly smaller than, say, your classic helichrysum, which I haven't got an example of here. But think about how you're going to design with your flowers. Think about your colour palette, and think about what you like to work with, what your garden loves to grow, and let that inform your choices. Now I've got essentially, you know, kind of two main colour palettes here, the kind of blues and the purples, that side of thing. And I've also got yellows, and this will also go with yellows. So when making your choices, it's a really good idea to have things that will mix and match with colour palettes. I like to do tonal arrangements, but what's really useful is to grow something that is a neutral. So this is Achillea the Pearl. It will dry to a softer faded, almost bronzy white, but it will go with everything. And so it's good to have one dried ingredient that you can spread across your whole palette that's a little bit softer and gives you that movement. Because I think a key thing when you're drying flowers for everlastings, it's to have something with a bit of quirky movement, and that way the arrangement that you're drying doesn't look stiff, and it doesn't look, you know, like it's going to be dust gathering. It looks like it's still living, and you can then create either bouquets or wreaths or anything really with a suite of ingredients. Now, I've got other videos on my YouTube that show you exactly how I dried these, because it is an art, and believe you me, you do need a bit of space and a bit of a draft. But I think what you grow, there's always questions about, oh, what are you growing, what variety, and things like that. I really consider it a very, very personal choice. There are things that can guide you, of course, but have a think about what suits you and your growing and even your arranging, and I think that will really guide you. So thanks very much for listening. If you got anything from this video or liked it, I'd be delighted to hear from you, or I'd be really pleased if you'd consider subscribing to my channel, Fierce Blooms. Bye for now.